Everybody good for a few more minutes?
Oh, yeah.
They said that right here in the little agenda, this is where I have my few minutes. I talk for 3 hours at a time. A few minutes. That's so cute. And I'm a little nervous with the TV cameras, and let me tell you why. Because they say that TV adds about 15 to 20 pounds. It's quite obvious. Radio adds more. All right?
And donuts even more.
That's exactly right. Well, just for the record, after all that what these people have said and what we're going to hear in a few minutes from Paula, just for the record, just so you know, just speaking for myself, I am very proud to plant my flag in this particular Occupy movement, where we've chosen to occupy rational thought, conservative values, fiscal responsibility, and constitutional ideals.
Amen.
Where people love their God, they love their families, and they love their country. Here in the great city of Fort Wayne, in the great state of Indiana, which for so long has been known by so many merely as flyover country, but if you've watched lately, rapidly becoming known as the great example of fiscal responsibility in Middle America, because in this state, we have had the good fortune and the privilege of having some great fiscal conservative leadership at our State House. In Mitch Daniels, we've been honored to have America's leading governor guiding our state in 2 terms of common sense, rational, financially responsible governance. His conservative commitment to fiscal discipline of spending less than the state takes in has turned a crippling deficit into a $1 billion surplus, balancing Indiana's budget even during a recession, and making our once unattractive business climate into one of the strongest and most attractive states for private sector job growth in the entire Midwest. It makes a difference who serves us. And folks, if it makes a difference who serves us in the State House, it makes a difference who serves us in local government.
Yes.
Many of you have been part of this fight for a long time because, like me, you sat in your homes and you looked into the faces and the eyes of your children and your grandchildren, and you realized that somewhere, somehow, we have drifted. As a nation, as a community, we have drifted away from our foundation, and we continue to build our house of state on a land of shifting sand. Because of that, our house is not quite as strong as it needs to be. It's necessary for the survival of our nation. It's necessary for the survival of our communities. And so we began to come together to make change, to reacquaint ourselves, first of all, with that document that we should all know and love, the Constitution of the United States. We knew that we were heading into a challenge that would be neither comfortable nor convenient. But taking the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, we realized that it's not in moments of comfort and convenience that you realize the mettle of the person. You realize it in moments of challenge and controversy, and that's certainly where we find ourselves. So silence and continued lack of leadership in our administration here in Fort Wayne is no longer an option. So we chose to let our voices be heard. And we knew that our goal, true conservative fiscal representation for the future of the city of Fort Wayne, was a necessity. And so we charted a path that would allow us to rebuild our leadership on constitutional, rational, reasonable, sound doctrine leadership, to educate each other, to teach each other, not just on what could be, but on the situation that we were currently in, to look at our current representation and to decide if that's where we wanted to continue. And if your house is like mine, when I look into the eyes of my daughters and I look at our current situation in the city of Fort Wayne, this is not the way I want to leave it for my children. I need something more. I want something better for my family.
Yes.
So we began to pray. Yep, pray. And to seek people, persons who could be those leaders that we need. Many of them you see standing behind me today. Those who could become the face and the focus of our drive to make sure that our city is the true benefactor of real leadership, fiscal leadership, responsible leadership in local government. And we began to make a pledge to each other. A pledge to grow together until the day would come that we would find the right person, and we have. In the terrific lineage of people that you see before you today, true, strong, conservative, business-savvy people who love their families and their cities and their faith, and none of them up here apologized for their position on any of those things. And at the top of that ticket, we found through our debates and our primaries, one who has led in the past in every office and every position that she's ever held, who unapologetically has had her family in her heart, our future in her mind, and a sharp pencil of fiscal responsibility in her hand. And as our next mayor, she is ready to lead, not to follow, lead us into the next generation of opportunity for the city of Fort Wayne. Leading us to attract new businesses, not to just hold feel-good pep rallies as we wave goodbye to businesses that have chosen to leave us. Thank goodness for a terrific heritage and past in Fort Wayne, but if there is to always be a Fort Wayne for my children and yours, folks, we have to look forward, and we have to start looking forward now. It isn't enough to be just reactive, to run about fretting over what was and who has left us and what opportunities we missed, dampening our sorrows by convincing ourselves and those around us that, well, I'm really not all that bad. I haven't made any big mistakes. When we find that we come up short as a city in business opportunities coming to Fort Wayne or in business partners who have chosen to leave us, when leadership's response is, I did everything I could, it just wasn't enough, sadly, truer words were never spoken. Your best was not good enough, so it's time to change the leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, in Fort Wayne, we need to be a city that needs more than just a good person at the helm. We need more than just an apologist. We need a leader, a visionary, a warrior. We need to be able to stand with the person who can bring all of that to us. The only possible next course for us to take is to make certain that on Tuesday, Paula Hughes can stand in the confidence that we, the people, stand with her at every turn that she faces in the final days of this campaign, and that we will stand with her in the battle after she takes the oath of office in January. And let's make another promise to ourselves today, my fellow constitutional occupiers, and that is that this is not the beginning of the end game. Nope. This is the beginning of the beginning. Right. Yeah. We need to hear and to heed the call from our children and our grandchildren and from all future Hoosier Fort Wayne generations that the need for true patriotism and conservatism and fiscal responsibility does not end on Tuesday, nor does it end in November of next year. It's merely the beginning, because tax and spend liberalism will still be alive and kicking. They will still be striving for their purposes, and so must we.
Kill the beast.
That's right. Hey.
And so my challenge to you, all of you, my friends, is this. In this place today and beyond, hold to the fight. Beyond this election and beyond this time. After Tuesday, we set our sights on November 2012, and we'll celebrate victory for Indiana and true conservative representation in the State House, the U.S. Senate, and the House of Representatives. We will also celebrate next year a change in the White House, and we will celebrate that as well. If we have seen nothing in the last days, even in this very park, what has brought us and led us to Rothschild Pavilion today, we have seen this. Fort Wayne is too good a city to continue as a ship without a rudder. We need leadership, strong leadership. I need more of a mayor than somebody who'll just say, well, I haven't done much wrong, I haven't been all bad. Folks, let me tell you something about Pat Miller. I'm a jealous person. I am jealous about my family, I'm jealous about my church, and I'm jealous about my city. And so it's for my family, for my business, for my church, my friends, and my community that I tell you, Tuesday is not just another day. It's where we grab the ship and we turn it. We go into the polls, take everybody you can to the polls, and we need to make sure that the next mayor of Fort Wayne is none other than our next guest. Please welcome Paula Hughes.